Daniel Kostick presents Premiership Elections in Albertan History. This election took place on June 28, 1926, and was the sixth election in the province's history. It would be the first vote since the United Farmers of Alberta were elected to government. After being named as Premier by his caucus, Herbert Greenfield was faced with trouble from within. His first cabinet appointees were met with scrutiny after it was rumored that members of the Labour Party would be included. His first proposal only barely passed caucus approval, and he went on to name Labour MLA Alex Ross as Minister of Public Works and Irene Parlby as Minister without Portfolio. Parlby was the first female cabinet minister in Albertan history. Once the legislature convened, Greenfield narrowly avoided having his Speaker candidate defeated when a surprise nominated candidate declined the nomination. UFA backbenchers increased the government's hold by introducing the motion of no confidence, a move that at the time was called unconstitutional by lawmakers. Outside of internal party struggles, the Greenfield government was responsible for ending prohibition and establishing the Alberta Wheat Pool. Over time, Greenfield's inexperience was becoming more obvious to Albertans and his caucus. He had failed to deliver economic relief and was alienating radicals within his party. This caused a significant number of applaud his resignation and replaced him with Johnny Brownlee, Attorney General and MLA for Ponoka. Greenfield had been increasingly relying on Brownlee for decision-making and communication, only adding to the notion that he was a weak leader. Brownlee initially remained loyal to Greenfield, but changed his tune after discussing the matter with Henry Wisewood. Greenfield resigned shortly afterwards, stating he was through with politics and never wanted to be premier in the first place. He would go on to work in oil and gas until his death in 1949. After losing power in 1921, Charles Stewart resigned as leader and was replaced by John Boyle, former Attorney General and MLA for Edmonton. He was appointed to the judiciary in 1924, and the party convention chose Joseph Tweed Shaw, the MP for Calgary West and member of the Ginger Group, as leader. Shaw's appointment was seen as a shift left for the party, since the Ginger Group would later play a role in creating the Cooperative Commonwealth Federation, or CCF. Dominion Labour continued to enjoy success in major cities and expanded into rural areas as well. The party was now led by Fred White, a Calgary alderman who was serving concurrently as MLA from Calgary, and continued to be a voice for urban left-wing voters. Having been decimated in 1921, the Conservative Party chose Alexander McGillivray, a lawyer and Crown prosecutor notable for his role in the guilty verdict of Emilio Piccarello and Florence Lysandro for the murder of Alberta Provincial Police Constable Stephen Lawson, as leader. McGillivray worked tirelessly to rebuild the party across the province, reorganizing it into a legitimate contender once again. At this time, the party did not have any incumbent MLAs due to recounts. This election was the first to be decided by using single transferable voting in Calgary, Edmonton, and Medicine Hat, while the rest of the province used instant runoff voting. The major cities were single multi-member districts that would be elected with either a plurality or quota of first choice and transfer votes. Outside the cities, voting was aligned in a way that all seats would have to be attained with 50% plus one of the total votes. If no candidate achieved this, the one with the least votes would be removed and have his or her votes redistributed to the next pick. This would continue until one candidate met the threshold. And here are the results. Johnny Brownlee won, securing 43 out of a possible 61 seats, while securing 39.7% of the popular vote, an increase of 5 seats and 10.8% compared to 1921. Next came Joseph Shaw, whose Liberal Party won 7 seats and 26.2% of the popular vote, down 8 seats and 7.9% from 1921. Fred White was next, and he won 5 seats along with 7.8% of the popular vote, jumping up 1 seat but dropping 3.6% since 1921. Finally came Alexander McGillivray, whose Conservative Party won 4 seats and 22.1% of the popular vote, an increase of 4 seats at 11.1% since 1921. This election strengthened the position of the UFA, Dominion Labour, and the Conservatives while continuing to weaken the Liberals. The shift away from the centre brought the Liberals into a crowded left-wing field already occupied by the UFA and Labour. This in turn helped to get the Conservatives back into the legislature. This election also saw a number of independents running with tags such as Independent Liberal or Independent UFA. This was also the only time that the province saw a candidate run under the Liberal Progressive banner. I'll see you in the next one.